Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today, we'll be talking about education in Gibraltar, which is a subject of interest to British nationals looking to relocate with young families, and they have to put their children through state or private education. Matt, what is your view from the outside?
Okay, so my view, I think this is something that for those with children thinking of moving to any country, but of course we're focused on Gibraltar. Of course, their children's education is incredibly important, and that transition from the UK and Gibraltar. And we talked about in a previous video about the transition from the UK to Gibraltar, and is relatively comfortable in a lot of areas because of the shared currency, language, legalities, and education is similar in the sense that, well, not similar. It's they follow the same curriculum to the UK. So you have, your GCSEs and then your A levels and then maybe onwards to university. A lot of Gibraltarians here go to university in the UK. So Paul, you'll be more familiar having a child who went through the education system. So what are your thoughts and what can you tell us about the education here in Gibraltar?
Well, we now have a parallel system because we have state schools, comprehensives, delivering, GCSEs and A levels, but equally there's a private school. Um, I think it's called Priory Park,
Yeah, Prior Park, yeah.
Prior Park. Yeah, sorry, beg your pardon, Prior Park, and they deliver, private education. But in all honesty, the public school delivers educational services to a very high standard. And Gibraltar-based children go through, as you rightly say, GCSEs, their A levels, and then they've got a choice. If they want to go to university, that depends on their grades, like students in the UK and elsewhere. Um, or alternatively, we've just launched about 10 years ago a university in Gibraltar, which doesn't cover a wide range of subjects, but still nonetheless is an option for those that want to stay. But I think increasingly students enjoy experiencing university life in the UK, and then based on grades, they apply for different universities. So no, education is, again, it would be for British nationals moving the children over um, at the start of a school year. I think the adaptation period is virtually zero. You have
Yeah.
to adapt. You have to adapt to the teachers. You have to adapt to, to a new environment with new people you don't know. But in terms of the content of the courses, they are exactly the same. You're just
Yeah.
moving from A to B. It's almost as if you're moving from Newcastle to Southampton, yeah, because the family relocates. Yes, new environment, new um, friends, new teachers, new school, maybe a slightly different way of doing things, but the curriculum is identical. So very easy to adapt, in my opinion.
Definitely.
And if I may just, and with a little twist, that if they've been here in Gibraltar, if the family's been here for a period of time, I think in excess of 5 years, but might I stand to be corrected, then those children, if they get their grades, can go through university um, with the tuition being paid by the Gibraltar government.
Yeah, I think
So
you're right. I think it is 5 years, and yeah, I think it's kind of little known that, well, from outsiders that, yeah, I mean, tuition t fees are obviously higher than they were in the UK, and Gibraltar kind of pays them. One thing about the transition with schools as well, which I guess is important to add, and when we're talking to people relocating, we always talk about kind of planning in advance, and you have to have your residency in place to be able to enroll your kids in the school. So if you want your school to start the new year in September, then you've got to make sure that you start your residency process nice and early so they can get enrolled in time. And also you've got to be confident that the residency process is going well. And again, we've talked about this in previous videos. The routes to residency in Gibraltar are a bit more difficult to obtain than they were 5 or 6 years ago. So be kind of mindful of that, because it's a difficult transition. You don't really want any kind of gaps in your children's kind of schooling, and any delay could cause that. I think the other point to make is, schools in Gibraltar are really highly rated, but if somebody wanted to, they could send their kids to a private school in Spain. Yeah, so I think there's
That
is it the Soto Grande International School is a very highly rated one, and
that southern Spain have loads of options in terms of private schooling, for
yeah,
British nationals, and they can
yeah,
follow even the UK curriculum, or
yeah,
the French one for that matter. But the closest one, you're right, is the Soto Grande International School, and that is popular with some parents. And I think they get collected in a small coach every day at the border, taken to the school and then collected and brought back. So that's another option for those who prefer, an international education.
yeah.
So we're really spoiled for choice, whether you take the public or private schooling route. Um, the important thing is that your child will get, the highest possible education, which is so important for parents, yeah, that they put their children through education and they are confident and comfortable that, if they uproot from the UK to a third country, whether that's Gibraltar or elsewhere, their children are taken care of and they can continue their studies.
Absolutely. So I guess the summary is, if you're considering relocating to Gibraltar, and you're bringing your children with you, or you may be having children in the future, it's really great news, and it's another tick in the box for Gibraltar as your potential relocation destination. So if you're in that position, and you want a little bit more advice on that as part of the whole package of relocating, why don't you reach out to us? Okay, thank you, and bye for now.
Thank you.